So, about a year ago, I had one of the scariest experiences of my entire life. Let me explain to you what that was exactly. So, it was February 24th, 2019. I was going to work as I do any other day. I walk to the bus stop, catch the bus, go to my destination, I walk to work. This particular day, when I walk to the bus stop, I see some police cars passing me by. One of the police cars took a good look at me, and then they kept going. I'm like, I didn't pay too much attention to it. I'm just like, all right, I'm just waiting for my bus because I missed the first one, so I had to wait 20 minutes for the next one. Next thing I know, I see one more cop car come down where I'm at, and I get out of the car and they start walking towards me. Now, immediately, a lot of things are running through my head right now because I've never actually been approached by a police officer in the 23 years I've been alive, 22 years at that point. I was never approached by a police officer before. Now, mind you guys, to add more to this, I had this pink duffel bag with me. Now, the pink duffel bag had my rain outfit because at the time I worked outside. I had a rain outfit in this pink duffel bag, and he asked me, "Where are you heading?" And I said, "I'm heading to work, officer." And he starts asking me some more questions, and then as he's asking me these questions, I noticed four more police officer cars, state troopers, and a canine unit pull up to where I'm at. Now I'm really starting to get frightened because I don't know what's about to happen. And they're asking me all these questions, and they ask me for my identification. I hand it off to them. They run my ID, and they're still asking me questions about where I'm heading and whatnot. And they said earlier that day there was an incident where a couple got into a fight, and the guy got angry at the wife, and he like beat her and ran. And the guy had a pink duffel bag, and I met the description, so that's why they stopped me. And they had to run my ID to make sure it wasn't me. And they were still holding, like they would not let me go anywhere. They were just holding me there, mind you. Did not use any force or anything. They were just talking to me. I did not run. I just stood there talking to them. It took about 5 minutes before one of the other police officers came out the car, and he was like, "That's not the guy." And the guy apologized. He went back to his car. And they drove off. And that was my encounter with a police officer. And ever since that day, I hear all this news about this black person killed, police brutality. This black person was killed by a police officer or a white man or whoever. And I think back to that story and how lucky I am to have gotten out of that situation with no bumps, no bruises, no scars, and with my own life. Those police officers could have easily went south. And as soon as I went to pull out my wallet for identification, they could have shot me. But they didn't. I feel like I shouldn't have had to be scared at that moment to pull out my identification or to even talk to a police officer. But I was. Because that's just what it's like to be a black man in America. You fear for this kind of stuff because you hear these stories about black men being killed. And latest black man that was killed on the news by a white police officer was George Floyd, which I'm sure you all know about. He was put on the ground by a police officer, and he knelt on his neck for 9 minutes until he lost consciousness and died. And now we've been seeing riots for the last 4 to 5 days out in the streets. People are looting, things are getting set on fire. It's been insane. I've never lived through anything like this. I mean, I thought the coronavirus was crazy. I don't know what's more crazier at this point. But I bring all that up to bring up one person who I am severely disappointed in. And that person is someone that I idolized since I was a child. And that person is Chris Jericho. You guys know, if you watch my channel for any length of time, that my all-time favorite wrestler is Chris Jericho. He was one of the first wrestlers I ever seen growing up. The first match I ever seen was Chris Jericho versus The Rock versus Stone Cold at Vengeance 2001. And then when I got older, I really, really got into the Chris Jericho character. When he first returned in 2007, I was super excited and so into him. Then he turned heel and I hated him. And then as I got older, I got more of an appreciation for him doing such a great job. And now in my 23rd year of living, you know, I'm a bigger Chris Jericho fan than I ever was. But earlier today on Instagram, I saw something that disgusted me. And that was Chris Jericho. Now, I don't remember what the reply was in reference to, what the picture was. I've only seen a screenshot. I didn't exactly see what post it was on. But one person commented, hashtag Black Lives Matter. And right underneath that comment was a reply from Chris Jericho that said, hashtag All Lives Matter. And it hit my heart very, very hard because For me, I don't think every single person who uses the term all lives matter uses the term with the intent of malice or with the intent to degrade Black Lives Matter. I do think some of these people have the right intentions, but go about it the wrong way. They're either ill-informed or uneducated or just plain ignorant. And those people, you want to educate them. You want to get them in the right direction. But then I feel like there are some people who use it as a way to degrade and disparage people who say Black Lives Matter. And that part really upsets me. And I feel like any person who sees Black Lives Matter and their first instinct is to reply with all lives matter, that is not somebody who is trying to uplift all lives matter. They're trying to make Black Lives Matter look less than what it actually is. And that's what really sent me off the edge with Chris Jericho, is that it seems like he was trying to make Black Lives Matter seem less than what it's supposed to be. Chris Jericho is my all-time favorite wrestler, and seeing that tweet had me in a very rough spot because I own so much Chris Jericho merchandise. I own so much of it, and I've been supporting him for all these years. And to see someone almost look like they're standing on the opposite side of the fence as you, and you idolize them, it really upset me. But I also said, maybe he's just ill-informed. Maybe he doesn't know exactly why we say Black Lives Matter. I think for that matter, I had to make this video. I know there's a good chance Chris Jericho may not see this video, and if he doesn't, you know what, it's fine. But even if he doesn't, I want to make sure people out there who may support All Lives Matter for the wrong reasons see this video and know exactly why we stand with BLM and no justice, no peace.
Please, please let me stand. Please, man, I can't breathe.
Hey, what is up, you guys? It is Tyler. Welcome back to the Tyler Williams channel. I have no script prepared for this video. I'm just gonna shoot off the cuff. Anything that comes to my mind, I'm just gonna say that. And really badly, that could go really well. We're gonna see what happens. But as you saw in the intro, this video is directed towards Chris Jericho and his stance on All Lives Matter. Now, Chris Jericho did do I don't know if I want to say technically a response in his latest Facebook live stream, where he almost kind of sort of clears the air what he meant when he said All Lives Matter.
Hug the ones you love, tell them that you love them, and peace and love, okay? No racism, no riots. And when I say all lives matter, I mean black, white, all of us. We're all in this together. So I love you guys. Thank you so much for a great Saturday special, and we'll see you next week.
Like, even still hearing it, it just brings me off the wrong way, because it's like he's almost like trying to make it seem like we're all on the same wavelengths right now, white and blacks, and the truth of the matter is we're not on the same wavelengths right now when it comes to All Lives Matter. And I understand what the root of the word All Lives Matter means. You mean, yes, every single ounce of human life, no matter of race, sex, color, they all have respect for each other, one another, and they want to see all of us get uplifted and get shown the same justice. I understand what they mean when they say all lives matter, but at the end of the day, when you say all lives matter in response to Black Lives Matter, you're almost pushing to the side Black lives by saying that. Because at the end of the day, we're the ones that are suffering from oppression and injustice.
So if you are not coming to the people's defense, then don't challenge us when young people and other people who are frustrated and instigated by the people you pay. You are paying instigators to be among our people out there throwing rocks, breaking windows, and burning down buildings.
When George Floyd was on the ground pleading for his mother, pleading for help, was getting knelt on by a cop, guess what the other cops did? Nothing. Not a single one of those cops went to help him. Not a single one. Not a single cop went to help him. All lives matter. No, Black lives matter. George Floyd was black, but he didn't deserve to go out like that. And that's the other issue I got to get into. People think that this is all because of George Floyd. If you think that we are rioting and looting because of George Floyd, you are missing the point. That is not why we're rioting and looting. George Floyd was the straw that broke the camel's back. When he died, we said we had enough. Black people had enough. And that's why they took it to the streets and they started burning cars and they started crashing everything and breaking stuff because they felt like their voices were not being heard. When people say go about it with peace and love, it's like we've done that for years. We've done it for decades. Go back to the MLK days when people would walk to work miles to work because they didn't want to take the buses in protests. You think that we were met with peace and love? No, the fuck we weren't. We were still getting bullied, harassed, and lynched and killed by other white people. But we went about it peacefully. And we dealt with brothers and sisters and friends that we know of getting killed. And when I say we, I mean the people of my color, not me in general, because I wasn't born then. Thankfully, I didn't have to experience any of that. But they had to go through those struggles. And you want to know what the worst part about the struggles they went through that? Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves. He freed the slaves. Black people did not need to weren't forced to work for the white man anymore. But yet they were still killed and bullied and harassed and made to feel less of a person because of the color of their skin. And the judicial system did nothing about it. The government did nothing about it. They're just like, well, you're free now. Be happy about it. Be happy that you're free. So that's why we did peaceful protest. And we were met with more hate. And not by everyone. There were people who stood up for us, that were on our side. And that's what we're seeing now. There are people who are white, who are Asian, who are Mexican. They are on our side. Because they know we have actually went through the struggle and the oppression that some people who say all lives matter, they don't know what we've been through. And guess what? The people who are not of color, who are on our side, they still to a degree don't know what we've been through because they themselves are of the color of skin that have not experienced it. So when you say all lives matter and you try to make it seem like, well, yes, Black lives matter, but how about us? It's like, shut the fuck up. That's where every single person that hears all lives matter wants to say. They want to say, shut the fuck up. Because you're not that damn important right now. You are not, that is what it boils down to. You are not that important right now. Black people who don't feel like they're being heard, they're important. That's why they're going out to the streets and destroying everything. Because for the last few decades and centuries, when we've been going about the MLK route and the Malcolm X route, it seems like that hasn't worked. Go back to Trayvon Martin. Go back to the I don't want to say list, the mountains of black people who've been killed. The more black people that get killed and the people who took on the axe, it takes weeks or months for them to actually meet any justice. How is that fair? How is that fair? How is it fair that they get to walk free or they get put behind bars in jail and get released? Where's our justice? Exactly. Just some hashtag, just some we stand with you. That's all we get? That's all we get? We support you messages? Oh yeah, I bet you do support us. Because you don't have to experience it. You don't have to go through it. So I bet you do support it.
Do what you say. This country is supposed to be about the land of the free for all. It has not been free for black people, and we are tired. Don't talk to us about looting. Y'all are the looters. America has looted black people. America looted the Native Americans when they first came here. So looting is what you do. We learned it from you. We learned violence from you. So if you want us to do better, then damn it, you do better.
When we say Black Lives Matter, we are not saying only Black Lives Matter. I have not seen a single person who says Black Lives Matter, they mean only Black Lives Matter. That is not what we're saying. We are not saying only Black Lives Matter. We're saying that Black Lives Matter. We matter too. That's what we're saying. We matter too. Not only, but we want to be included in that conversation that keeps being had about what's going on in the world. We want you guys to realize that we've had enough. We're fed up with it. That is why what's happening now is what's happening. So stop saying to go about it with peace and love. And yes, there are peaceful protests going out right now. And I'm all for it. I am all for people who want to go about peaceful protests. Guess what? Go online. Go on Twitter. Peaceful protests, guess what they're being met with? They're being shot at. They're being hurt by police officers, by the SWAT team, by the National Guard. They're getting their resources like water, milk destroyed in front of their face.
These are cops right here destroying everything. You're gonna take the materials of us trying to peacefully protest?
Leave him alone! She's walking away! God, I'm getting... Katie, are you okay?
Because these people who are meant to protect us think that we're also the people who are trying to hurt them. But we're not doing this because we hate white people. Not all of us hate white people. And Black Lives Matter is not a movement against white people. You need to look at the word Black Lives Matter. You need to look at the movement Black Lives Matter and repeat it to yourself over and over and over again. Because the message is already in the writing. Black Lives Matter. When you add more onto it, that's when you get into your own head. And you get in this little visual in your head about what it actually means. And that's not what we're going for. And it truly hurts my heart to see Chris Jericho, a man that I looked up to, say something like that. Because it's like, why would you combat as a way to try to get your point across that everybody deserves the same way? It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. And I saw a great analogy on Twitter, and if I could find it, I'll post it on here. But the guy basically said the greatest analogy of all lives matter that I ever heard.
Hey, what are you doing? Oh, this house is on fire, so we're gonna go help them. We're gonna go put out the fire. Well, what about my house? What? What about my house? Doesn't it matter? Is your house on fire? No, but, like, it still matters. Nobody said that it didn't. It's just that this house is on fire, and people's lives are at stake if we don't do something about it. Okay, all houses matter.
Does that make sense to you? Does that make sense to you? Because it makes perfect sense to me. When one person gets hurt, everyone doesn't need to receive care. The person that's hurt needs to receive care. Black people are hurt. They need to receive care. They need to at least feel like we actually have a voice that's being heard. That's all we want. Even if nothing changes, and we understand that nothing might change, we just want to feel heard. And that's just it. We just want to feel heard. So I hope any of you watching this video, like I said, I don't think Chris Jericho is going to see this video, but I hope any of you watching this video got at least a little bit of limelight out of why we do what we do. I'm literally sweating right now, and like tears about to fall down my eye. That's how passionate I am about this. It's like it really makes me sad to see people go like against this. It's like we're not trying. It's like we're not doing this just to do it. Just to. I'm going to have to end this video soon before I break into tears, because that's how passionate I really am about this. I hope this message got across to some of you. If I have any more to add, I'll add it into maybe another video, or I don't know. If you're watching this video and you want to support Black Lives Matter, link in the description down below. Go to the Minnesota Freedom Fund and donate any amount of money. I donated $50 already. I've seen a lot of people on Twitter donating, and it makes me happy to see that. This week's live stream, AEW Dynamite live stream, any proceeds donated will go straight to the Minnesota Freedom Fund, and it will also go to the suicide prevention hotlines, because we are still hot off of the Hana Kimura suicide, and I think that that still deserves some attention. I know that with everything going on, that's kind of been pushed to the back burner. You know, we just want to be heard, man. We just want to be heard. That's all it is. That's all it is. I'm not one of these people who are looting. I'm not any of these people who are setting cars on fire. I haven't even attended a protest yet, because I still fear about going to protest, seeing all of these people who are doing peaceful protests getting shot at, getting beat by officers. My mother is scared. When I put this shirt and this hat on, I will look for my wallet, and she asked me, "Where are you going?" And I said, "I'm about to make a video." She said, "Oh, okay." And she was so worried because she thought I was going to go out to a protest. I might still go to a protest, but, you know, it's worrying. And it shouldn't be. But that's just what the police system does to black people. They make us worried. They make us scared. They make us hate them. And I hope you all understand that. Thanks for watching this video. I love you guys always, and I'll talk to you all later. Peace out, guys.
If you white folks want to be treated the way blacks are in this society, stand. Nobody's standing here. That says very plainly that you know what's happening. You know you don't want it for you. I want to know why you're so willing to accept it or to allow it to happen for others.